Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to discuss about CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science December 2018 Part C Series 5. Okay, this session will be helpful for your preparation towards the CSIR NET examination and also all other entrance examinations where the standard syllabus was given to you, and even GATE entrance examination. This will be helpful. All previous year question papers we are going to discuss, and we are making into different series. In this session here, Chemical Science December 2018 Part C Series 5, where question number 101 to 110 of this question paper is going to be discussed in today's session. Let us enter into our actual concept. Here, question number 101, conductivities of water and saturated solution of sparingly soluble salt AB2 are given as 7 and 21 millisiemen per meter. Okay, so here first one, conductivity of water is given as 7 and saturated solution of salt of AB2 is given as 21 respectively. Given lambda naught of A plus 2. So this is a cationic equivalent conductivity which is given as 12.72 millisiemen meter square mole inverse, and equivalent conductance of B minus, that means anionic species, is given as 7.64 millisiemen meter square and mole inverse. The solubility of AB2 in mole meter inverse cube is, we have to predict the solubility of the given compound. Okay, here the salt is given as AB2 and which is sparingly soluble in nature. In order to predict its solubility, the formula will be solubility of AB2 molecule is given as KAB2, so solubility constant of KAB2 minus solubility constant of water by molar conductivity, right? So solubility constant of this AB2 is given as 21, and the solubility of water is given as 7 by molar conductivity is provided as 28. Molar conductivity is nothing but conductivity of these both. So when we sum these two, that will become the molar conductivity, right? So 21 minus 7, it will be 14. 14 by 28. Here the values are provided in millisiemen, that will be converted into siemen by multiplying with 10 to the power minus 3. 14 into 10 to the power minus 3 by 28, it will be 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. So it can be written in the form of 5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, so this value is obtained in the form of mole. This value is obtained in the form of mole meter inverse 3. So this is about the problem solving of conductivities. This is a part of electrochemistry where we are going to derive the solubility of the sparingly soluble salt by using the formula KAB2 minus K water by molar conductivity, right? For question number 101, option number 1 will be the right answer. Let us move on to another one. It is also the part of electrochemistry where Nernst equation can be employed in order to predict this kind of problem. The equilibrium constant of the following reaction: tin, solid, metallic tin was given, and another highest oxidation state of tin, that is tin plus 4 aqueous solution was given, gives rise to 2SN plus 2 aqueous. Okay, this is a part of redox reaction. One of the tin got converted into plus 2 state where oxidation is, and another substance like SN plus 4 got condition state, stands for reduction. So we can say this is the kind of redox reaction, and even we can say disproportionation reaction. Disproportionation reaction stands for same substance in one state it converted into oxidized form, in another state it converted into reduced form. Hence we can say this is a kind of disproportionation reaction also, right? So at 300 Kelvin closure to, so E naught value of Sn plus 4 to plus 2 is given. So and Sn plus 2 to Sn 0 is also given to us. So reduction potential values of both the states, both the oxidation states of tin were given, and gaseous constant R is equal to 8.314 Kelvin inverse mole inverse. This is also given. 1 Faraday is nothing but 96,485 coulombs per mole. right? So these are the parameters provided in which are relevant with the given problem. Let us solve this problem, and what we have to predict, we have to predict equilibrium constant. K equilibrium value should be derived. In order to get that, the first equation will be tin solid metal is treated with tin plus 4, and there is a possibility of tin plus 2, right? So among these two, tin 0 got converted into, here it will be, it is not plus 4. In both the cases, tin is turned into Sn plus 2 state, so that, so zero oxidation state of tin into plus 2 oxidation state, it is denoted as a oxidation process. Always rise in the oxidation number is denoted as a oxidation process, and whenever Sn plus 4 was taken, that Sn plus 4 turned into Sn plus 2. So here decrease in the oxidation number is observed, that is said to be a reduction process. Metallic tin to tin plus 2 is called oxidation, and this Sn plus 4 to Sn plus 2 is denoted as a reduction. Wherever oxidation is carried, that part is denoted as the anodic compartment, and Sn plus 4 turned into Sn plus 2, this is known as a cathodic compartment, right? Now Sn plus 4 to Sn plus 2, the value within the problem, that is plus 0.15. Sn plus 2 to Sn 0 state, where we got 0.15 volts. So these both standard electrode potential values are given within the problem itself, right? Now let us solve. What is the formula for electromotive force? EMF is given by E cathode minus E anode. Cathodic potential value. So cathode is nothing but plus 4 to plus 2 state. Plus 4 to plus 2 state is given as 0.15. 0.15 volt it is, and plus 2 to 0 state, it will be minus 0.15 state, minus 0.15. So minus into minus, it will become plus, so that both the parameters can be added. And EMF of the cell is given as 0.30 volts. We calculated EMF, that is 0.30 volts. Now let us apply the Nernst equation in order to predict the equilibrium constant. E cell is given by RT by NF ln K equilibrium. Here K equilibrium stands for equilibrium constant value. What's the formula? E cell is equal to RT by NF ln K equilibrium, right? So E cell value is known to us, that is 0.30 volts. R is nothing but gaseous constant, whose value is also provided within the problem, that is 8.314 Kelvin inverse and mole inverse. This is also provided. And temperature, the reaction is operated at the temperature of 300 Kelvin. So directly it is provided in Kelvin scale only, and N is nothing but number of electrons transferred. In both the forms, Sn 0 to plus 2, even Sn plus 4 to plus 2, in both the cases, 2 electron transfer will be observed. Hence, you can clearly say it is the valency of 2. 2 electron transfer denoted with 2, right? Now, F is nothing but Faraday. 1 Faraday is equal to 96,500. It is clearly given as 96,485, right? Then ln K equilibrium, this to be determined within the problem. Remaining all the parameters are well known to us. So this ln K equilibrium to be determined. Now let us convert ln base E into log base 10 by multiplying with 2.303. Now E is equal to 2.303. This is the multiplying factor in order to convert ln base E into ln base 10, right? 2.303 into R value will be 8.314. Temperature by valency is 2. Faraday is equal to 96,500. ln K equilibrium to be determined, that is converted into log K equilibrium now, right? So here E naught is given as 0.30. So when we substitute all these values and go for the calculation, it will be simplified into 0.30 volts is equal to 0.02976 by log K equilibrium, right? By log K equilibrium. Now, log K equilibrium, after calculating all these, it will be converted into 10.08. Log K equilibrium is given as 10.08. Then when we go for K equilibrium, it will be based in 10 to the power 10.08 will be the right answer. K equilibrium will be calculated as 10 to the power 10.08. For this problem, tin problem, right answer will be option number 3. This is purely based on Nernst equation. And first we have to predict EMF of the cell, and that E cell can be substituted within the Nernst equation so that it is possible to determine equilibrium constant value. For question number 1 or 2, option number 3 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 1 or 3. Longmuir adsorption isotherm for the dissociative adsorption of deuterium molecule. P is given as partial pressure of deuterium. K is equal to ratio of rate constant for adsorption and desorption. So here it is purely surface chemistry, and in surface chemistry we are discussing with the adsorption process by 3 different theories. One is Longmuir adsorption theory, second is Freundlich adsorption theory, third is Bate adsorption theory, right? So here in the Longmuir adsorption isotherm dissociative adsorption of deuterium, the empirical formula, directly we can apply empirical formula. The formula will be theta is equal to Kp to the power 1 by n by 1 plus Kp to the power 1 by n. So this is an empirical formula. When we apply to this deuterium decomposition, it can be represented as theta is equal to Kp to the power 1 by 2. N is denoted with 2 here. Kp to the power 1 by 2 by 1 plus Kp to the power 1 by 2. So this will be the answer for Longmuir adsorption isotherm. Theta value is given by Kp to the power 1 by 2 by 1 plus Kp to the power 1 by 2. So for question number 103, option number 3 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 104. Entropy of the perfect gas is. In order to predict the entropy, we have several formulas. Here, entropy is given as in terms of specific heat and specific volume. Entropy formulas are given as delta S is equal to S2 minus S1 is equal to CV ln T2 by T1 plus R ln V2 by V1. This will be the formula in terms of specific volume. If we describe the same formula in terms of specific pressure, then it will be delta S is equal to S2 minus S1 is equal to Cp ln by T1 minus R ln P2 by P1. Okay. So in terms of volume, it will be reciprocal. Volume and pressure will be reciprocal, so that this equation will be, sign will be inverted here. Right. So these are the formulas which are relevant to the entropy change. So along with this, we have another formula delta S is equal to. So entropy delta S is equal to RT ln V. This is another kind of representation. So delta S is equal to RT ln V. It is exact relevant to the problem what they are asking here. Entropy of the perfect gas is entropy of the perfect gas is directly proportional to ln V, because if gas constant and temperature both are constant, we can directly indicate delta S is proportional to ln V. So for question number 104, right option will be option number 3. This is purely based on the equation delta S is equal to RT ln V, right? So 104, the right option will be third one. Let us move on to question number 105. The contour and root mean square length in nanometers of the polymeric chain modeled as random coil with n is equal to 1000 and L is equal to 150 picometers are closest to 2. Okay. Here, two different parameters are provided. One is contour and the second is root mean square length. So both are provided, both to be determined. One is contour length, another is root mean square length to be determined. It is a part of polymer chemistry, and where n value is given as 1000 and L is length is given as 150 picometers, right? So when we apply the formula for contour length is calculated by taking n into L. N value is provided to us, that is 1000. And L value is given in 150 picometers. Picometers can be converted into meters by multiplying with 10 to the power minus 3, right? 1000 into 150 into 10 to the power minus 3. So -3 and +3 both get cancelled. The right answer for contour length will be 150 only, because 1000 is nothing but 10 to the power +3. 10 to the power -3 is there. Both values get compensated. Now contour length is given as only 150, right? So now let us move on to root mean square length of the polymer. Root mean square length of the polymer is given as under root n into L. Under root n is nothing but n value is 1000. Under root 1000 into L value is 150. And here again we have to convert picometer into meter, so that 150 into 10 to the power -3 can be employed, right? So now the value will be under root 1000. Under root 1000 value will be 31.6. 150 will be there into 10 to the power -3 will be there. If we multiply all these parameters, so that the final answer root mean square length is given as 4.74. 4.74 is obtained. So where the two answers are relevant with this one. So contour length is given as 150. Root mean square length is given as 4.74. For question number 105, option number 4 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 106. The free energy A minus A dash, A minus A naught of the system 10 interacting spin S is equal to 1 is given as, right? So free energy A minus A naught of the system 10 non-interacting spins. Here, its group theory table was given. Number of irreducible representations also provided. How many symmetry operations are there and what are the different stages, and their entire data is provided within this table 1. Right. So we have to go for free energy of the system to be determined. In order to get that, we have the formula dA by dt is equal to minus S. S is given as K into B ln 3 10. Okay. S is equal to K into B ln 3 10. Then dA by dt is equal to minus S, right? We have to substitute this S value here. dA by dt is equal to minus Kb into ln 3 10. Minus Kb into ln 3 10 can be substituted here. Then here we only need what we need, free energy change is required. That's why dA is given as minus 10 minus 10. Here T is coming this side. So we are taking only A here. Then A is equal to minus 10 T Kb ln 10 3. Minus 10 T Kb ln 10 3. So this will be the right answer. Minus 10 Kb T ln 10 3. So option number 2 is the right answer. For question number 106, right option will be option number 2. This is purely based on the equation dA by dt is equal to minus S. S value can be substituted here. When we substituting S value in this equation, we will get what is the what will be the free energy change of this one, right? For question number 106, option number 2 is the right answer. Let us move on to question number 107. The pi Angerine orbital of ethylene, when placed in XY plane with a carbon-carbon double bond aligned to the x-axis, transforms according to the irreducible representations. Use table 1. Same table to be utilized for this problem also. Pi Angerine orbital of ethylene carbon-carbon double bond. Pi Angerine orbital of ethylene carbon-carbon double bond was taken and it is placed in the orientation of XY plane. It is placed in XY plane. That's the reason why it will be polarized in Z-axis. It will be polarized in Z-axis. Z-axis parameter will be B3U. Okay. Z-axis parameter will be B3U. That's the reason why the pi Angerine orbital ethylene when placed in XY plane, always when placed in XY plane, polarization is carried towards the Z-axis. Then according to irreducible representations, so irreducible representations are B3U because it will be Z polarized. So inclined in the XY plane and Z polarized it will be, so that for question number 107, option number 4 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 108. There is a transition from B1U to B2G. Okay. The transition taking place from B1U to B2G of ethylene molecule. Again, it is the extension of this table. Only from this only we have to derive B1. What kind of transition? B1U to B2G transition is possible. B1G to B2U, B1U to B2G. B1U to B2G transition is possible. So again, they are inclined in X and Y directions only. That's why obviously it will be Z polarized. So if inclination towards XY plane is there, polarization is carried in the Z axis. So B1U and B2G, these two are inclined in the XY plane. So this kind of transition always allowed by Z polarized light. Always allowed by Z polarized light, right? So let us move on to question number 109. A metal crystallizes with cubic close packed structure. CCP structure was provided. It is a part of solid state chemistry. Bravais lattice can be applied and Bragg's reflection, right? So XRD studies to be employed so that we will get what is the answer for this question. A metal crystallizes with cubic close packed structure. Sin square theta values of Bragg's reflection of Miller planes 200, 111 are 0.18 and 0.14 respectively. The unit cell length is, we have to predict its unit cell length, right? In order to get this, we have to use the empirical formula of Bragg's law. That is, L lambda is equal to 2d sine theta. N stands for order of the reaction, lambda is the wavelength, d is the distance, length. Okay, sine theta is nothing but angle which is provided within the different planes of crystal, right? Now d, this distance is given by d is equal to a by under root h square plus k square plus l square. Different orientations which are provided, and these are the Miller indices values, right? D is equal to a by under root h square plus k square plus l square. Now let us substitute this d value in the above Bragg's law. In lambda is equal to 2. Here d stands for, so a part, instead of this d we are going to substitute the entire term here. A by under root h square plus k square plus l square, right? 2 into a by under root h square plus k square plus l square will be inserted in this, and sine theta is equal to n lambda, right? Just to be substituted d value within the equation, and in the both the sides we are going to square. Okay, so it will be squared in both the sides of the equation. Whenever we are squaring, 2 square is nothing but 4, a square was given, and the root value when squared, what happens, it will becomes normal value. So 4 into a square by h square plus k square plus l square, it will become sine square theta is equal to n square and lambda square. What we did, in both sides we are squaring the equation, right? Later, let us apply Miller indices values here, h square plus k square plus l square. So h square, these are the Miller indices parameters provided here. 200, h is nothing but 2 and k is nothing but 0, l is nothing but 0 again, right? Let us substitute all these values. What happens? 2 square plus 0 square plus 0 square, when applied, it will become 2 square only. That means this Miller indices value totally becomes only 4, right? Now we are going to predict the sine square theta. Sine square theta is equal to, we are taking sine square theta left side. Now n square into lambda square by, so whatever numerator value is there, when we are going this side, that will become denominator. It will be n into a square by h square plus k square plus l square. Denominator to denominator, what it will become? Numerator again. So that sine square theta value is also provided within the problem. Sine square theta value for 200 is given as 0.18. We can take either of the value. We are taking Miller indices of 200. That's why we are applying the sine square theta value as 0.18 only. So these parameters we are going to derive, right? So it's a sine square theta value 0.18 that will be substituted here. and n square into lambda square by 4 into a square by h square plus k square plus l square. So when we substitute these Miller indices values, what happens? 2 square plus 0 square plus 0 square, because the value will be 2, 0, 0. When we apply 2 square is nothing but 4 and remaining 0, 0 only, so it will become only 4. Here 4 is present in denominator, here 4 is present in the numerator. Both get compensated, both get cancelled. Now 0.18 is equal to lambda square by a square. 0.18 is equal to lambda square by a square, right? Now it will be a square is equal to lambda square by 0.18. Yeah, this value only we require, that is unit cell length will be predicted from this A only. That's the reason why A is equal to, if we are removing square, what happens? A is equal to lambda by root 0.18. When we make this root of this value, 0.18 root value is given as 0.4. Now this unit cell length A is equal to lambda by 0.4. This is the option provided in third one. So for question number 109, option number 3 will be the right answer, right? Let us move on to question number 110. Rate constant of unimolecular. K unimolecular is the effective first order rate constant of the following unimolecular reaction. So this is a unimolecular reaction. A is the starting material added with M under K1 reaction condition. The K1 rate constant that get excited, A star will be generated and M remains as such. Let us assume M will be the catalyst here, right? Then A star upon reaction that tends to convert it into product, right? So this reaction is proceeded with a K2 equilibrium rate constant. Okay, so this first reaction will be reversible. So when reactants converted into product, that reaction proceeded with first order kinetics, and the products get converted. You can say this is intermediate. This intermediate get converted into reactant, that is reciprocal. So K inverse can be employed here, right? Then this intermediate to product formation is denoted with the second K2. So this is denoted with K2. These are the parameters provided within the problem. And the slope is given by 4 into 10 to the power 6. And the intercept value is given by 8 into 10 to the power 11. The graph is plotted between 1 by K versus 1 by M. 1 by K is taken on the y-axis, 1 by M value was taken on the x-axis, so that graph will be plotted where slope value is given as 4 into 10 to the power 6, intercept is given as 8 into 10 to the power 11. The value of K1 by K2 is given as K1 by K2 value to be predicted. It just like a Michael-Menten equation, and let us see how it will be calculated. The formula for empirical formula for K equilibrium. Equilibrium constant is given as K equilibrium is equal to K2 into K1 M by K inverse M plus K2. So this is the what we can say, it is the empirical formula in order to predict this, K1 by K2, right? So let us take inverse of this entire equation. Reciprocal of the equation was taken. Inverting the equation, what happens? All the numerator values becomes denominator values. So that K equilibrium is converted into 1 by K equilibrium is equal to, so K inverse M by K inverse M plus K2 by K1 into K2 into M. So this term, denominator term will become numerator, numerator term will become denominator, just reciprocal of this equation. Now it can be expanded like this, K inverse by K2 plus K1 plus 1 by K1 M. Just we are segregating the equation into Y is equal to Mx plus C form. How the equation is represented now? Let us indicate very clearly. So left hand term is taken as K unimolecular, and the right hand term is taken as this equation. So this will be very clear that Y is equal to Mx plus C. Y-axis term will be Y 1 by K unimolecular, and x-axis term will be, what is x-axis term here? Mx. Here only we have Mx term. 1 by K1 is the m, that is the slope value. 1 by m will be the x value. 1 by m will be the x value, and this entire term becomes the intercept. Plus c term it is. Okay, so it is better to represent in the form of equation is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, y axis will be 1 by k, x axis will be 1 by m, slope will be 1 by k1, c will be k inverse by k2 into k1. Right, now let us substitute all the terms which are provided within the problem. Slope, what is slope value? Slope m is nothing but 1 by k. What is 1 by k value? Slope is 4 into 10 to the power 6. Slope is 4 into 10 to the power 6. 1 by k is given as 4 into 10 to the power 6, 1 by k1. And let us indicate here, this is given as 4 into 10 to the power 6. Intercept value is also provided to us. What is the intercept value? 8 into 10 to the power 11. 8 into 10 to the power 11. Right? So this is the intercept value. Now, let us substitute in this k inverse by k1 into k2. K inverse by k1 into k2, that is the intercept. That intercept value is 8 into 10 to the power 11. 8 into 10 to the power 11 it is. Okay. Now, 1 by k1. What is 1 by k1? 4 into 10 to the power 6. So, let us substitute here. K inverse by k2 into 4 into 10 to the power 6 is equal to 8 into 10 to the power 11. 8 into 10 to the power 11. Now, k inverse by k2 is equal to 8 by 4 into 10 to the powers are same. That's why we can take minus 11 minus 6. Minus signs are there. So, sorry, it is not minus. It is plus term only. 8 into 10 to the power 11 is given here, right? So, there is no minus term. That's why. So, plus 11 and minus 6. So we have to go for the subtraction of these two values. 8 by 4 into 10 to the power 11 minus 6. It will become 4 2s. 2 into 11 minus 6, it will be 5. 2 into 10 to the power 5. That is the ratio of k1 by k2. So that will be 2 into 10 to the power 5. In this way, equation can be derived and substituted with all the values, so that it is obtained as k1 by k2 ratio is taken as 2 into 10 to the power 5. For question number 110, option number 1 is the right answer. By this, we successfully completed series 5, where all 10 questions of CSIR NET JRF December 2018 Part C question paper from question number 101 to 110 have been completed. It will be very much useful for your further preparation. Thank you very much for your patience listening. It will be helpful for your further preparations wherever any competitive exam related to chemistry, otherwise any entrance examinations, it will be very much helpful. Thank you one and all.